Yo, Yamamo, Aqua Bastronco, so a POG Media. So, yes, also Safi no about over subscribe na while like Allege Media no at Yamayo Bitsman, so Allege Media no na afofro and so answer Akabian. Please click on the notification bell so send be the in news be to platform no so one so one no dear air core and the air bar. Yejumedia no the Biani catch them saying so open hot trending political news a ha Ebiana uni a year time and I say uni a yes, Opepano, CBR debates several radio stations, TV stations, and Yoma Air Coso, Media, and as well. Aha, and a Babuano, Yadin some Dona, either abroad in terms of Ghana politics and even beyond. Tijibre, not the Biano, on subscribe, subscribe, and share Yedimediano, Fama Yunga, Yen Subnumna, and SMB Abba to Ja, a Dr. Mahmoud, a Bawumia, and Akuffo home. Say a corrupt, a scandal, be a toja, a PDS muno, a year and sha, or mobile fee, a year some jail, and I say ABA, Umbako, a prison near prosecute or Montia, Umbako, a year Supreme Court, not Yakudi or Massem, because a corrupt, a scandal away, and a year the donor HSA, say ye de Bawumia eco prison and as ye prosecuting man hon kwan se obegina as oman penny way and some Martin Pepu legal practitioner ordin some dona the tuja HS Ghana for amanyo no omedin some money especially NPP Abanwe Akuffo any Bawumia omedin some money paint no omobehwe say a lawyers for kukudan for behwe say omode omo abukwa akogina ensani ni na omedi omasem so can say be yanko na yankoti ye de aka no ebesomo medamase
that matter.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's a chilling reminder to President Akuffo and his ministers.
To everyone.
Yes.
Not the
I said, I use the word especially. All of us. I've granted interviews when I said all of us. But right now, they are in the saddle. They have access to our funds.
Not to say that things are happening before then.
Lawyer.
It is not subject to.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So, for President Akuffo,
we will talk.
For President Akuffo, you know, what I'm looking for is that when he leaves office, I'll be making a complaint so that we'll prosecute him for the over 500 million we spent on the fumigation of schools, etc. after COVID, when it wasn't necessary.
Right.
That's the investigation Manasseh did and won this, what do you call it? Is it West Africa Journalist Award sometime last year?
So you take him up?
Oh yeah, Akuffo now. We will see. See, just like Donald Trump is before the court, Akuffo will also go before the court.
I'll hold you on to the work.
Over 500 million.
You think based on Manasseh's work?
Yeah,
the ingredients are there.
Yes, the assembly said that. The assembly opposed it. They said there was going to be financial loss. They didn't think that fumigation was necessary. Yeah, why would
so making a decision?
Yes.
So I don't want to even get. I don't.
And for Bawumia, we'll be doing the PDS. We'll be doing the role he played in changing the clause from a bank guarantee to an insurance guarantee. Next year,
will be alive.
The brutal. Next year.
You mean 8 years after today?
No, next year.
8 years after today.
Oh, you stand and see. Bawumia. You go before the court.
You know what we do?
Before the court.
We keep records on this show.
Yes.
As you have said it.
Oh, yes. Oh,
I'll
that
remind
report.
You.
Just like...
You say you will go to court.
Yeah, and that reminds me. You know CID, we reported this Galamsey matter. Okay. We reported Chairman Wuntumi about a year and a half to the CID. Abu Jinapo, Minister for Mines and Energy, says that... Lands and Natural Resources. Says that Chairman Wuntumi, Bernard Nchibosiaku, did not have a mining lease. CEO of Minerals Commission, Martin Isi, says Chairman Wuntumi did not have a mining lease. Yet he entered the Tanon Nimri Forest. Until date, Madam Fosnando Kofi, CID boss, is playing games with the case. Look, Madam Kofi, if you can't do the case, leave. Leave. 1.5 years. When ministers, you see, for Abu Jinapo, an appointee of Akuffo to come out and say, listen, Chairman Wuntumi had no mining lease. For Martin Isi, an appointee to also come out. It should tell you that the thing is indefensible. Yet Madam Kofi, CID boss, is just playing games with it. Just like the way Mamiti Wad did to us when the case of Abu Jinapo and Asensuachi was reported to them. He called A plus on phone and was now negotiating.
None of them are here. None of them are here. Let me have...
As you the non-lawyer will have to. So, first one, they say, I think that, look, for me, the general principle is that if you go against the law should take its own course. And so it was within the right of the Attorney General to have prosecuted this case. My understanding also is that, look, in the course of this, she demonstrated that she was not well and needed further treatment. The understanding I equally have is that, look, whilst there, he said that her condition was getting worse. And that's why, and the lawyers tried giving, evidence to suggest that this was her situation. I believe the judge would have placed judgment value on the reports that had come, and on the basis of that, took a decision to make. I'm also told that those issues were actually also debated, appealed on, and it was at the appellate level. So I know the law will take its own course, and hopefully, at the end of the day, she'll be given the justice that she deserves. But my part, the angle that I'm interested in is that, you see, the alacrity with which this case was dealt with, and they went through and they were so committed to it. If you compare that to other issues that have come, that to an extent, we do not even know where we are. I use the first example. The example of Cecilia Dapa. You see that over a period of time, our time was wasted with OSP for God knows how many months, only to be told that he didn't have jurisdiction to handle that, and the thing had fallen now on the laps of Mamitiwa as a Yoko boss. Nobody knows where this issue has gotten to.
Thank you.
And the state is not interested in that. If you look at the figures that we are looking at with Sedinam as compared to this, if the fundamental thing is to make sure that the monies that are meant for the public good is preserved and other things, this is an area we should be looking and be interested in.
Okay.
The issue of Bisu, what's his name again? Charles Bisu, on the analysis expose on changing of, that Galamsey issue. Nobody knows where the issue is just left, right. Nobody knows. Look, there are some of them, and I give you a typical example. The issue of the Australian visa scandal. Not only were the people brought back from Ghana, there was a report by the same government that indicted the person involved. But you know what has happened? The government has gone beyond that to even reward the person by appointing him as a chief executive of an authority.
Pious.
Pious.
All right,
so I am just telling you that, see, I agree. Me, if look, and all of us, just as the judge said, let's all be cautious. When you are given the opportunity to render public service, be very transparent and accountable, and ensure that you work within the limits of the law. But in doing that, because you lawyers, you have been saying that it is a discretionary power that is given to the Attorney General to either prosecute or not to prosecute. Is that what you say? But the Constitution also still talks about the fact that in your decisions, it shouldn't be capricious or other things. You shouldn't be seen to be that depending on the person's face. That is the basis under which you use in prosecuting.
Yo, yadawase. So I just bring our show Jumedie no ebe do the same way. On subscribe like Jumedie no my share na afoforo enso ensa enkabi so ensam ni twagu. And this is a serious allegations just a papa yi ama just a ayuhu pa yi anasa papa no dia tudwa just enka ebema Ghana no just a democracy na etumpo because I come akwa say politicians anasa government appointees omoba na so omobetina so a momudi nsenhunu sebesebi tafrache omudi nsenhunu bebre edi Ghana esika eboy abro na omuyo omaja oman no ho na omko efi say omunim say obia ntimi nyade so there's an agenda Martin Pepu afato no so say ono no obehwe se ansem we no ombede ombedi no omedi ne fenchem owie ye no ode nsem foforo bi ye de eto dwaka ho ema ada legal practitioners so edo ma no ye de etu mu kire omadwene sansem no say ampa they will do adjust to asem na Pepu either akano because omontina ho emma Ghana enya de ensei yanko ne nkonkotie science mi medamase.
Absolutely, for 6 months. So that used to be part of section 104 of the Act 30. Yeah, that was part of it. The jail term was 6 months. So when I presented that case to the Supreme Court, they dealt with it in February, and then by December of 2015, the decision came out. December 2015, sometime December 2015, the decision came out. So the Supreme Court struck down that subsection of Section 104. I think it's subsection 6 or so. Yeah, one of them down there. Yes. So Mr. Alex Moore, Mr. Tamaklo would most probably have gone in. Because if you can't produce the accused person, then under the law, you would have gone in. But where that was wrong, because under Article 19, Clause 11, you can't just turn that into a crime. So you see this in the ECG, the PURC report. Yes, you must specifically create a crime in the law against somebody before you talk about imprisoning the person. But signing a bail bond is not a criminal conduct. Because there is nowhere that is stated that if you sign a bail bond or you stand as surety, or I prefer the word guarantor, since guarantor is more popular, more people have taken loans, and so they can easily remember guarantor. So if you guarantee for somebody on a bail bond and the person absconds, there is nowhere that is stated that the person absconding constitutes or your failure to bring the person to stand trial constitutes a crime. That's the main thing. That's the easiest way to understand it. There's nowhere in the books that they've created such a crime that, hey, Mr. Okansi, if you guarantee for somebody, then he gets a bail and he absconds and you can't produce him, that is a crime. There isn't something like that. So the Supreme Court looked at it and said, oh yes, they would strike down the law. And since then, we've not made amendments. You see, Ghana, that's the problem. There are other ways of dealing with this matter, but it means that right now we have chosen the civil path. Because the bail bond is a contract. When you say bond, a bond is a contract, right? So look into the contract and go by the terms. So under the terms of the contract, if you sign that, you will pay 5 million. I understand this Sedina Tamaklo contract is 5 million. So it means that Mr. Alex Mould and Madam Tamaklo, the other Tamaklo, will be facing the law. I even thought that side had been dealt with. Because, you know, at a point, Alex Mould used to attend court, and it was in the newspapers. So I thought they had disputed the bond, but it appears it's not been done. So it means that very soon, Mr. Mould. But he should thank his stars, because paying 5 million is certainly far less injurious than going to jail. And, you know, because under the old law, that would have been 6 months.
So it's good. I've used the old law where I argue this point without you going to the Supreme Court. So that's why, because if you look at Broby's book, it says that it is a contract.
Yes.
So owing doesn't convert into a criminal offense.
Excellent.
And I use that in the guy that was alleged to have signed the Energy Minister's forged his signature, remember?
Okay.
In I think it was Kofi signature. And the person, someone stood for bail, and the person absconded. Sorry, the accused absconded. And I used that, and the person has had to pay for that. Well, so it's always been,
so I just
for me,
that's
always been the case.
Thanks to you, Lawyer Martin People, at least there's been some improvement in jurisprudence. Thank you.
I thought you would give me an opportunity to have a bite on this.
Yes, you will.
I know I'm not a lawyer.
And talk about the takeaways from this as well, as serving as a caution to all public officers and politicians and government officials in this country.
I was in the House of Laws of which court to testify, right? At the end of the day, the prison conditions didn't meet the standards of the UK authorities. So the guy won. He wasn't extradited. Yeah. Our prison conditions are terrible. They are terrible. And I'm surprised politicians, left, right, center, they don't do much to improve the situation. And yet, they are the people who will soon go there. Because
so the prison conditions can be a potent argument against this extradition?
Absolutely. Look, at the UN level, they've discussed. There are several reports that go against us in respect of our prison conditions, overcrowding, etc. So there's Justice Hometou. Yeah, when he was High Court judge in Nsawam, he would use the UN reports and, as part of the mitigation, reduce the sentences, because that is law. You can't subject people to so much inhuman condition that, yes, the fact that they've committed crime doesn't mean that apart from serving the term, you should subject them to inhuman conditions. Article 15 of our Constitution is against that. Yeah, we tried something in the Supreme Court, but eventually the Supreme Court said no, they will not take the matter. We should go and go to the High Court. But it's terrible. It's extremely terrible. And maybe before your next question comes...
and I want to conclude, Lawyer Marco. This was just a quick conversation.
Okay.
The Deputy Attorney General says this particular case should serve as a lesson to politicians and government workers. I mean, you are not... Are you a government worker?
No, I'm not. I'm just a law lecturer and private legal practitioner.
But it's certainly a reference point for some lesson.
He's waiting for, in case Bawumia comes.
Anyway,
but he didn't get the chance.
They're doing my job for me. Thank you very much. If you feel I qualify for that, I believe I do. Thank you very much.
That would be
so get to that point.
You wish. 2025. 2025. You wish. Now, you see, when we went to first year, then we all had to come and give oath that will comply with the school's regulations, and it will end by instatu populari. Is that also? In this whole persons, all of us gathered, we are doing so in our own personal capacity, and I think that's what should guide everyone. And today is on the left foot, the next day may be on the right foot. And so everyone should be guided by this. And so what he said is proper, is genuine, that this is advice to any official of the state. Because you see, you have one Ghana, we keep on saying, we cannot mess it up and then hope that, and if any court anywhere is going to use the conditions of our prisons to deprive anyone from being extradited, I don't think it would. They should also look at the context within which Ghana is situated and say that this is the Ghanaian kind of prison, and so you cannot say that you want it, because there are prisons there. There are prisons there that is one in a room with TVs, with their own TVs and whatnot, and all that. I mean, we cannot say that where Ghana has reached now, we should elevate our prison system to that extent. So if you don't meet that, then the person cannot be extradited. So I think it should be looked on case-by-case basis.
Okay.
It is, I mean, even without him saying that is a caution to everyone, I think everyone should know that it's such a popularity. You go there as a person, as a group, make all the and as my brother is doing in Parliament and whatnot. But it is you, the person. I remember in the same affairs I was caught, when I think I was a year ago or so, his matter came there. I was in the, we had just finished our case and they called that, and I sat down. And then someone said he's busy in Parliament and whatnot. If said, in my court, I give him 1 hour. By this time, if he doesn't appear, we will see what will happen. I don't know how the message got to Parliament. As I got down, then it's third floor, it's not second floor. Financial Division 1, Court 2, second floor. I chatted for maybe 5 minutes. By the time I got to the foyer of the front of the court, I saw all MPs coming. All the MPs who are lawyers coming from Parliament. And then I was a Canadian for. So you asked, what are you guys going to do? If yes, that is judicial power. That is what we want to see. It is not always the, you see, executives are executing. So they are the visible ones. Parliamentarians are always making, and there are a lot of issues happening in Parliament now. But there should be the exercise of judicial power. One is brought to them and make sure the right thing is done. And so I think we should all take note of this and make sure you don't find yourself on that, because it is instant popularity. You go in the best you can do. I remember when Bawumia was in prison, NDC MPs trooped. I have issues with that because I think it is not a sense of solidarity. It's about the state. But they trooped. At the end of the day, they went back, and he was the one left there. You see, so I think we should be careful about
and
this.
Whenever I say that, Martin Pebo, probably you don't blow your trumpet enough, and well, maybe some of us will have to do that. At least with the impact that you've had on our jurisprudence in this country, with you going out of your way to test the law and refine legal procedure. Anybody who sits in any lecture in the law school, your name comes up every now and then. Had it not been for you, maybe the persons who stood surety for Sedina Tamaklo would have probably been in jail by now.
Absolutely.
So I'm talking about Alex Mold, the former GMPC CEO, and then also Gavivina Tamaklo, formerly with the National Theatre. They stood surety for Sedina Tamaklo to be granted this permission to even travel for this medical attention. 5 million cedis bail was what was put on their heads. Prior to lawyer Martin Pebu testing the law in Pebu number 1, these people would have been imprisoned.
Is it extrinsic of bail?
No, that's
not imprisonable.
And lawyer,
that's Pebu number 1
at this point.
Before we go to number 2, number 3, number 4.
This is what would have happened.
Yes.
That these two who should stood surety, because Sedina Tamaklo is said to have absconded, they would have been thrown in jail.
I'm sure I saw what you media no ABCC bree. The diacos on Yan Peter Mr. Unsubscribe, yeah, subscribe my shade media now for foreign so answer in Kabir. Please click on the notification bell. I don't mind down here, so bosso, send a bay any news be able to platforms on so also one with the air call and the air bar. Mr. Mo, Jumediano, the piano, aha, say near the Jumedi papa, political news, I just say in more p. A year a cuckoo down for Cassa, Yansa for Cassa, our mocha, aha, and near the bed, the baba sumo. Aha, and I'll bring your omunina voices. I day at ye na also on as a pill, not 2024 about where you will me. Also, what's many grounds to decide on who to vote and who to what lead a Ghana. Aha, and I'll bring an unkunyani baby. In same sermon, most subscribe because in same be saying Yanni at the bed, ya de ebabe besumo. And please, ye call near the other subsequent stories night day at the abremo. So my day, Makramo.